1. Hi everyone. Today we're meeting with Shaun Emerson, a board president at MenLiving, board vice president at the Buy A Project, and treasurer for Learning to Be Human. For the past 30 years, Shaun has engaged individuals in personal and professional development. Thank you kindly, dear Shaun, for joining us today, allowing us to interview you. You create opportunities for men to gather together, to give and get support, most importantly, to build friendship. Please share your professional story and the history of MenLiving.
Hey, Arthur and Tim, good to be here. My professional story, very quickly, because I'd rather get into MenLiving. Most of my business life was in technology, in the early days of technology, back in the late 80s and early 90s. And then for a long time, was an entrepreneur, started some small businesses, sold them, got out of it. And for the last decade or so, I've been very involved in nonprofit initiatives. So MenLiving is the most recent one that I'm involved in very deeply. MenLiving, the history of it basically started as a small group of guys in Todd Adams' living room meeting together for just more authentic, deeper conversation, a way of connecting in a deeper way. Maybe a half a dozen guys. That was 10, 11 years ago. Today, we will have had somewhere near 1,800 men attend a meeting, one of 400 gatherings that we've had this year. Wow. For that same level of deep connection, hopefully friendship, maybe some healing for some, and hopefully thriving for others.
100%. Are there any particular trends these days when it comes to forging friendships among talented men? In other words, what's the most effective and efficient way to conduct matchmaking process in 2023? Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah, Arthur, that's a great question. You know, it's interesting. There's a lot of research recently that suggests that men in particular are falling behind, checking out. Educationally, they're behind. Economically, they're behind, and emotionally. And I think for the most part, men are conditioned as they grow to not show a lot of emotion, where relationship really isn't honestly that big of a deal. And so what's being reported is that there's a lot of anxiety and depression because of the loneliness. And so we're very focused on developing those spaces where guys can come together to find those connections. And they're going to develop differently over time. And we want to create different types of settings that allow them to find the right kind of relationships. And that's why SmartMatch is so critical to our strategy. It's actually, we think a little bit out of the box in that we've never really seen anyone using system like yours or any other actually to create platonic relationships amongst men. And so we feel like we're forging new ground.
You are. Yeah. Remember when the very first time we met, I said, this is like truly for me a very first time I see somebody's actually focusing on men to build relationships like that and help men connect and heal. I think it's very underserved. You know, we're used to look at men as, you know, like tough, and, you know, we're supposed to act a certain way and be certain way, you know, look at the success in a certain way, and, you know, family, providing for family in a certain way. But a lot of us, absolutely, it's very wonderful what you're doing. We do need that kind of support.
Thank you.
Making the world a better place, servicing our communities.
And I say we because, you know, like I haven't seen anything. I haven't.
Well, and what you do, I mean, the engine that you're providing us is hopefully allowing us to do that in a different way. So most of what we've done up until we implemented the system, I think after our beta test, we went live in October, thereabouts, maybe November. It was all group meetings. We really were, it was small groups getting together for conversation, and dynamic is obviously a certain way.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is foster more one-on-one relationships. And, we're still, and I think we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 300, maybe 320, 350 men that have completed profiles that are in the system. And now what we're trying to do is, as you probably know, juice up the matchmaking, and getting them to really feel comfortable reaching out and saying, here's who I am. The system is suggesting that we, have a lot in common, and let's connect.
I'm curious, by connecting right people with one another, you built many great relations. You witnessed a lot of success stories. Can you recall your favorite success story?
Well, I guess my favorite is Martin McLeish is a 74-year-old man in Perth, Australia. And, Martin would tell you that the environments that we're creating at MenLiving has changed his life. And so
changed his life, just like
changed
that,
his
right?
life. Yeah. I mean, living by himself, never been married. And
at 74 years old, right?
At 74, right. I mean,
that sounds like me.
There's a lot of 74.
Yeah. So it's like it's
Arthur,
never late.
You need to fill out a profile, Arthur.
So it's never late to change somebody's life. That's what you're saying. Okay, this is
absolutely
so cool.
And that's the other thing that's inspiring for me is that I think that there's a lot of people, not just men, that would not have the energy, the courage in many instances to want to be curious enough to reach out at 74 to say, I'm going to start forging new relationships with men halfway around the world. And so, so that's really, Martin's always my, at least right for now, always my go-to, because he's a wonderful man. And he's experiencing a rejuvenation in his life.
Oh, God bless you, Dad.
Yeah. So no limits in age, no limits in opportunities. That's amazing. Yep. That's a great story. And it's more like on his end, it's more of a business or personal type of influence that you have, that your network has on him, or both potentially. Like I guess professionally wise, maybe less on this at that stage, right?
Yeah, I would say professionally, it's a very little influence for him. Yeah. I think it's all about creating those relationships that are making his life richer. And what's interesting is what we're trying to do is we call our SmartMatch MenLiving Connect, and what we're trying to do is provide different types of environments for men to connect. And so we've got MenLiving Connect / SmartMatch. We've got our different virtual groups that meet on a weekly basis. We've got a growing Discord community. So there's communication there. So there's multiple ways for men to connect in the way that's right for them, or in all the ways if that's what they choose.
Multi-platform.
Simplicity is the key.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today, I don't think there's one single platform that can solve everything.
No.
Talking about platform, we haven't talked for a while, right? Since you guys went live. Yeah. So you just mentioned that you were looking for different platforms. So how did you? And this is mostly for the people who possibly will be watching it months and weeks or months or years to come. Hopefully, it will help them. So how did you run across SmartMatchApp, and what problem it solved for you? What are the kind of features that you appreciate about SmartMatch?
So I think I told you the story when we first talked. I actually had spent some time. This was the beginning of last year, maybe middle of last year.
I kind of know it, but I just want to sort of share it on a video.
Go viral.
So I had spent some time talking to developers about what I called putting together a dating app for male friendship. Now, when I talk about this as a dating app, the team that I'm involved in MenLiving, they lose their minds. They're like, nobody wants to talk about men doing a dating app. I'm like, yes, they do. And if they don't, they need to. And
that's the wonderful
it just wasn't going to happen. And so I had abandoned any efforts, but with the mindset that as we were redoing our website, we would add some functionality that at least from a directory standpoint was more robust. So we were in a review meeting of what we were doing with our website, and I was like, this stinks. I mean, what we're doing with our profiles and directories is awful, and we just couldn't have it. And so on the call, Joan, who's part of the marketing team, we just did a quick Google search, and all the time I never did check matchmaking. I was checking dating or things like that. And
this is one of our pains. We need to bring that word or figure out a way how to reach more community builders like that.
Now we have
matchmaking
can solve all the problems.
That word matchmaking, it's a stigma. It has a little bit of a stigma. Not stigma, but it has a certain connection in people's minds, you know.
Yes. So we pulled up SmartMatch. We looked at 2 or 3 others cursory, because when I see something that I like, I'm done. And we were done. And I mean, right after that, we aggressively, I think, it took us a while to get to the point that we could do the test, but it was all about implementing SmartMatch. And again, what we wanted was a way for it to at some level eliminate kind of the some of the fear around men reaching out to other men for one-on-one connection, in the hopes that with the system recommending other men, it's just like, okay, you have shit in common. Call this guy, send him an email, get connected with him, and see if there's a potential relationship down the road. I mean, I couldn't be happier at the way that the system is working for us right now. It's
doing all that you expected.
I think the one thing that I would tell you, the one thing that we would like, and I always tell the group, it's part of your business model, but to be able to do a geography search through the directory as a user, we don't know that it's very important, but it feels like it would be important, because we have men from all over the world that are connecting, and we absolutely advocate the use of the technology for these connections. But if you've got somebody that's down the street that's in the system, it might be good to know.
I think we do have proximity matchmaking.
Indeed.
But it would be interesting. We can jump on the call, go over this with your tech guy, because we do have proximity matchmaking. Maybe it's just a question of implementing it properly.
Is it, and we don't need to get into it, but I need to ask, since we're on it. Is it sure. I can do it in the back end, but as a client, I can't do an advanced search by geography?
Yes.
In directory,
in a direct, it's just a question of setting it up. So
including
I'm gonna make a note.
The radius.
All right. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome.
Sky's the limit. We live in a world of IT, and it's like magic. If you can think it, dream it, developers can build it.
I cannot agree more. Yeah.
I agree with you guys too, but like, I think when you say that, Arthur, I immediately think about my wife, who thinks that technology is easy. It's like, you could get what you want like that. It's not always that easy to do it, but it's magicians like you guys that make it easy look easy. But there's a lot of work on the back end.
Simplicity are many sleepless nights.
Right.
That's a good point, though. See, this is what I meant when we were starting the interview. You just never know what you're going to learn. I did take a note, and I will reach out to you about this. And we'll have you set up on the directory location searching.
Okay, that'd be great.
So that's good to know. What are some of the features that you find very useful in the app for your current community? Are you guys making personal introductions, or are you making the system to do the suggestions, and your community to to take action on their own?
So there's a couple things. We have just started to make matches, to make introductions in the back end. We were relying on the system to do that, to get things started. But we do think that we need to put some more energy or juice into the system and start doing that ourselves, which is one of the things that you recommended to us, I think.
Yeah, it's to get this going, absolutely. So people can like really get some matches, not like necessarily out, reaching out to somebody, but like literally opening an email one day. Oh, you have an introduction, that kind of motivates, sparks the activities,
I couldn't agree more. And so
we can also automate this whole thing completely. So the emails will be sent to your members once a day or once a week, and picking up the top suggestions and just sending it to them, pushing it through, saying, "Hey, you have a match of the day. We can automate that so that the system does it for you."
Latest development.
Yeah, we
Straight
can
out of oven.
see. We
all
can
right,
get
so
I'm
really interested in that. Interested in that. Because I was going
to
to say
like lunch club. We talked about lunch club
we did
one day, right?
Yeah.
So they do that, and we can do the same. So you can build your own lunch club basically for your community. It will you can set up the frequency, you can set up the minimum percentage that you want. You set up the messaging the way you want, and it will be just shooting it with the frequency you want. Once a week, once a day, once a month, any frequency that you want.
And it would tee up one of your top suggestions.
That's it. It takes you and me and says you guys are at 85% match.
Yep.
Send you guys an introduction. So you and me will get an email saying, introducing you. You guys have this in common, all automated. It's a nice thing to do as soon as you do a little bit of manual, so you can kind of like feel I always recommend our clients just to do it like manually before you automate.
Yeah.
Get feedback, see what your clients say. Do they like it? Do they hate it? Do they don't care about it? Like get some feedback about it. And then once you got some success, then automate it.
We want to do that yesterday. So I'm glad you interviewed me, because we're still learning. The other thing that's really attractive to us, our ability to kind of along the same lines, is to communicate messages to the whole client base. Because for us, the Connect, our ML Connect and SmartMatch application is just one aspect of what we do. So not only do we want to continue to encourage matching and suggestions and connection, but we also want to inform about the other things that we're doing on a regular basis. And so it really provides a nice platform for us outside of things like MailChimp and what have you, which is a broader distribution list, to communicate some of those things to our clients. And so that's a really nice feature that we're taking.
It's easy. You just select it, send it to a group. You can dice it how you want it, like slice and dice it, send it to certain age groups or certain interest group, and just send it to them like that from the system without having to
email or text message too.
Yeah, a text message is an interesting point. If you connect Twilio, you can then SMS from the system as well on demand like that. Have you guys done Twilio connection yet? Or
we have not? No.
Okay. Well,
another area to explore.
That's another note to take. Yeah.
So
but you guys, you have international membership though. So in some countries, that would be maybe a little bit challenged. Depends where people are, but
yeah, I mean, it's without question, it's just by this conversation, it's something we're still learning. I mean, we're still understanding the platform and all that we can do with it. And it's both exciting to learn the new things, but it's also kind of disappointing for me in that I want to take advantage of that functionality as much as I possibly can. And so, having these conversations is really valuable.
Yeah, we
shall meet more
and that's
often.
one of our yes, and there has to be a format for this, because you can't just meet hundreds of clients one-on-one. It's just it's gonna go, it's hard. However, we're working on like a webinar format right now, so that you can do it like weekly or monthly, so we can get like anyone to come in like this and talk this way. Maybe we'll record them and post them for everybody to watch.
That would be great.
Probably the best way to learn is just to talk like that sometimes, you know.
Yes.
But you know, if you have 350 members, men, who have completed their profile, that to me, that's success. It's amazing success, you know. To make men to do this nowadays, you know, it's just kudos to you, really.
Well, thank you. And you know, our aspirations are greater than that, but we're
he's
fine.
starting. Even with this number of members, you can actually start making those introductions. It's enough data. It's enough of a you know, database numbers to actually start introducing people. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely reach out to you and help you with some basic setups of that automation.
Okay. Like Arthur said, though, it's all about the journey.
The path itself.
It's all about the journey. Yep.
Intriguing question now. What are the plans for the future? How do you see MenLiving, yourself, let's say in 5-10 years from now? What's the plan?
Well, the first thing I have to say is I try to live moment to moment, so I don't get too tied up in 5 to 10 years, because you never know what's going to happen. But today, you know, we're trying. Again, based on my opening comments, there are either a lot of men who are lost right now that could really benefit from a friend, or men that aren't lost that could benefit from more friends. And so what we're trying to do, I mean, as a nonprofit, we are a nonprofit and mostly volunteer run. So what we're trying to do is give as much attention as we can every day to introduce more men to what we're doing and why we're here. And we think Connect Smart Match is a game changer for what we're doing. And so, you know, as I've told Tim before, my comment was that, you know, we'd like to see tens of thousands of men making matches on MenLiving Connect. And, but if we don't get there, if every day somebody's making a connection and it's helping them live a more fulfilling life, then we're being successful. In my view.
It's true. It's mentorship on all levels. You know, it's kind of mentorship. It's just giving each other a hand. Like in terms of like, just sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. And I think a lot of men are like very, like you said, very kind of closed. They don't want necessarily to share what they have going on in their
rough shelf, but soft on the inside, as we all know.
But yeah, I mean, we're told not to really. I mean, we're told, we're educated, we're conditioned to not show some of that emotion. I mean, you know, it's weak if you say, you know what, I'm kind of lonely. That doesn't really go over very well, which is bullshit. And so, you know, hopefully signing up for this system and seeing that you've got a suggestion where somebody is an 85% match and you like all the same things, you'll reach out and you know, maybe feel courage
the life
enough to
will
reach
become
out and,
brighter.
Yeah.
Talking about bright life and starting matchmakers and mentorship, would you like to give an advice to young starting matchmakers who's watching this interview? Maybe provide a smart guide, a few words of wisdom, hot tip.
Matchmakers, community builders, people who are like want to pioneer, because I personally feel there's so many niches.
Right.
That's what we're trying to enable. We're trying to give you like ability to build your own LinkedIn, if you wish, to build your own lunch club type of situation for your super laser targeted community. So for community builders, for people who are, for connectors, you know, yeah, would love to know what you think after what you've done in the past, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the one of the questions we keep asking ourselves is, you know, given that we have men all over the world, so being very sensitive to time, interests, how do we create a variable platform, integrated platform, by using all these different pieces, a variable integrated platform that provides men an easy on-ramp to these relationships, to potential relationships. So we think about the on-ramps. So it's an in-person meeting? Is it a virtual meeting on a Monday? But do we also need one on a Tuesday? So it's availability to creating these relationships. What's interesting is something like MenLiving Connect, SmartMatch is on all the time. So it's on all the time. And same with Discord and what we're doing in Discord, it's on all the time. And so for me, my tip is, even when it's a niche group, how do we create variability so it makes it easy for someone to achieve what they're looking to achieve? And so we're very thoughtful about those different on-ramps or different looking spaces, actually.
To basically remove some of the obstacles that they may make for themselves, for example.
There's
Shape
no
the
doubt.
diamond until it's perfect.
Oh, I'm busy. I'm too busy for this, right? So you got to kind of make it easier to say, well, it's
Whenever ready.
like a no-brainer. Can't say no.
Yeah.
I've got a Godfather offer. Just can't refuse. You just gotta join.
Right. No, it's definitely, how do I make it easy for the 35-year-old father of 3, for the 65-year-old man that's close to retirement? I mean, how do we create those spaces that makes it easy for them to engage?
Great. That's a great challenge.
Yeah.
I imagine some of our viewers would love to reach out to you, perhaps even work with you, join the community, or maybe provide for the cause. You never know. How can people reach out to you for more information or to work with you? What's the best way to connect?
Well, I mean, probably the best way is to email me, Shaun, SHAUN, at menliving.org. And then, our website, you can always ask for information if you go to our website, menliving.org, and make an inquiry. You can also go to menliving.org, connect, and fill out a profile.
Yeah. And if you guys are watching this video, if you are, shy to go out there and to, connect with other men, for friendship, for mentorship, I think this is a wonderful opportunity. Please use this. Go to menliving.org, absolutely, and make some friends, make some meaningful connections. It's absolutely
that will
wonderful
change the life for good.
Yeah. Thank
it was
Tim.
Pleasure having you today, Shaun. Let's all stick around. We'll say goodbye to our YouTube viewers. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching us. Stopping in 3, 2, 1.